All right, continuing here now, we're going to go. So Johnson as president, South allowed the black codes. That would be abolished. The 13th Amendment would abolish slavery, but the South in the spring and summer of 1865, they're going to start with the black codes. Again, slavery, all in but name. Sorry, I had to stop the video and then re-record it, so I'm all over the place here. Okay, 1866, this is where Reconstruction is going to get radical. Okay, this is now where where it really turns into radical Reconstruction. And the reason why it's called radical Reconstruction is because the Republicans at the time controlled Reconstruction, and they were considered radical, yeah, because of the ideas they had, such as full equality for blacks. But really, it was considered radical because they overrode all of the vetoes from Johnson. They had such supermajorities in the House and the Senate that they were easily able to get to the 2/3 over majority needed to overturn Johnson's veto. So Reconstruction became radical because the radical Republicans. So it was called radical Reconstruction because the radical Republicans overturned Johnson's veto, and they did all of the following, which are, here it is. They also, what they do in 1866, the radical Reconstructions, they passed the Civil Rights Act of 1866. What did this have to deal with? This made basically black people citizens. It made them citizens without an amendment yet. This abolishes slavery. The 14th in 1867, a year later, will give black people the right of citizenship. But this right now is just an act that basically grants them citizenship. All right, now next year, 1867, the Republicans passed the Reconstruction Act. This was the act that broke the South up. Broke South into 5 districts, and these districts were supervised by Northern generals, and they had to pass a state constitution that outlawed slavery. Again, this is something that radical Republicans passed. It broke them up into those 5 military districts. 1867. 1870, we're going to get the 15th Amendment, which gives black men the right to vote. 1875, and again, this is just a quick view of Reconstruction. I'm going to go deeper into it in just a second. 1875, the Republicans passed the last Civil Rights Act in the South until the 1900s, until the 1964 Civil Rights Act, and this is going to address segregation. All right, this is going to address segregation in the South and basically make it illegal to segregate. 1876, 1 year later, is the Battle of Little Bighorn in the West. Little Bighorn Battle. And this is going to also be Custer's last stand. George Custer, his last stand. And then in 1877, we're going to wrap up here, and we're going to officially end Reconstruction at this one moment with the political compromise of 1877. This is the compromise that got Rutherford B. Hayes elected because it was a very tight and close election. So it got Hayes elected because the Democrats agreed to give Hayes the election, who's a Republican, as long as he promised to pull federal troops out of the South, and he does. So this is a general timeline here of Unit 5. A lot happening here, obviously. Some things to keep in mind, if I can push this back a little more. Some things to keep in mind with Unit 5 are how things relate to each other, okay? How one thing leads to another. All of these things happening in the mid-1800s, in the mid-1850s, and in the early 1850s leads to sectionalism and this divide between Americans on how they view the government and the role of government. So all of these things piece together, and that's our general timeline for Unit 5. We'll get into more specific.